Virat Hindustan Sangam Tamilnadu to this event. I consider it's a great honor to welcome Padma Bhushan Dr. Nagaswamy onto the stage, please. May I request our State President, Madam Chandralekha, retired IAS, onto the stage, please. Prayer. Vande Mataram Sujalam Sufalam Malayaj Sheethalam Shashya Shyamalam Mataram Vande Mataram Suprajosna Pulakitayaminim Pullakusumhita Drumadhala Shobinim Subhashini Sumadhura Bhashinim Sukhatam Bharatam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram. Let us start this evening by lighting the lamp in front of Goddess Saraswati. I would request our guests to lit the lamp. May the divine power bless us all. May I request our State President, Chandralekha, retired IAS, to give the welcome address and inaugural speech. Thank you. Dr. Nagaswamy, friends who have come here today to listen to a scintillating lecture on the concept of nationalism in ancient India. Virat Hindustan Sangam, on behalf of which organization this meeting is being organized today, is the brainchild of Dr. Subramanian Swamy. The idea came to him when he took to Twitter, and what our media would not cover, when he could express those things to through the social media, the fan following of Dr. Swami grew by leaps and bounds. And as of this evening, it's about 8 million. And his Twitter account is managed by himself. All the comments are made by him. Nobody else does it on his behalf. So he thought this is a vehicle through which he can spread certain ideas for a strong India. The ideals of our VHS is to tap the educated youth of country so that they know about the heritage and culture of this great land and to pave way for a Hindu Renaissance. So we want to tackle this through the correct teaching, the correct history of Hindustan and rediscover our true identity and how to achieve balance in life through materialism and spiritualism and to promote Sanskrit, which had always been a unifying factor in India, and to promote Sanskrit as a link language. So to achieve this purpose, we conduct various lectures and various workshops so that the youngsters will learn about this and they in turn will disseminate this knowledge. And of course all these lectures are also broadcast through YouTube and other social media so it can reach out to a larger audience. Today's topic is very relevant. We chose this topic because there is a lot of doubt in a lot of the minds of a lot of people because our education system has been so infiltrated by the so-called left intellectuals. I won't call them intellectual, they are only semi-literates, but okay, they go by the name of this thing. So our history has been totally distorted by them, and one of their very popular idea they have been propagating is that India as a concept was a gift of the British, and there was no India before 1947 or before the British came and unified us. And the so-called Tukde gang of JNU, I'm very happy that IIT boys are for the true identity of India, but you're not the part of the Tukde gang from JNU. According to me, that university should be closed down. So this concept, we all have to know how is it that in our old literature and ancient texts, it has always been called Bharath. Nationalism, a country to be known as a nation, is it necessary that you have to have a geographical entity or is it a cultural entity? For example, you take the Jews. They never had a land, they never had a country of their own. They were a minuscule minority in many of the countries and they were persecuted. And they didn't even have a language. The language, the Hebrew they had was only the classical Hebrew through which they could read their religious texts. But that was not a language through which they could communicate. So when they landed in the newly born state of Israel, one fellow spoke Russian, the other fellow spoke French. They have no language. So newly in that language was new modern Hebrew was made. So then how did they have the concept of a nation? So nation is not just a geography or something like that. It's a shared history, shared culture, so many things. So if you look at it from that angle, that India had always had that feeling that I am an Indian. I am a Bharatavasi. So Dr. Nagaswamy will be enlightening us on this subject today. I don't want to take much of your time. A few words about Dr. Nagaswamy. I don't think he needs any introduction. Dr. Nagaswamy is a master's in Sanskrit and a PhD in Indian history with special training in archaeology and the Archaeological Survey of India. He was a director of archaeology in Tamilnadu for 23 years and Vice Chancellor of Kanchipuram University and advisor to Government of India to the UNESCO project in documenting cultural property. He has travelled all over the world, including Russia, and all countries in the West and also East. He has written over 50 books, and the latest book is a very important book, Tamilnadu and the Land of Vedas, which is a great hit in the world of scholarship. His articles have been published in all the major languages of the world by UNESCO. He was instrumental in organizing the now world-famous dance festival at Chidambaram, and I am very happy and proud to say that in a small way I was associated with him when I was Collector of South Arcot. That is the first time the dance festival was. His signal contribution to Indian art is known in the world over for his rendering expert evidence in the London High Court Nataraja case. Judge of the London High Court had praised his unequaled expertise in the field of Indian art and culture in his judgment. He also furnished a documentary data for the return of the Nataraja from the National Art Gallery of Australia. Today, most of our treasures are coming back to India. It is because of the signal contribution of Dr. Nagaswamy. In fact, recently Dr. Subramanian Swamy wanted him to contact him to get some of the details of the Nataraja, London Nataraja case to use in the Ayodhya case. His signal contribution in the sound and light program in the Tirumala Nayakar Mahal and underwater exploration off the coast of Pumpuhar. Today, if you go to Tirumala Nayakar Mahal, they have totally come up with a new version of the sound and light program, which is not the original one with which he came up, because I had seen the original one that was scripted by him. Wonderful, it was a masterpiece. He is an excellent public relation organizer. His untiring work of nearly 60 years of continuous contribution in the fields of astrology, archaeology, art and temple culture, history, epigraphy, and South Indian Asian art. Recently, the Government of India has awarded the newly constituted Gurukula Fellowship to him. He has been awarded the prestigious Padma Bhushan Award in the year 2018 by the President of India. His latest book is on the well-known Tamil text Tirukkural and the Dharma Shastras. Thank you. Over to Dr. Nagaswamy. Sir, உட்காந்து பேசணுமா? இல்லை, நான் உட்காந்துக்கிறேன். உங்களுக்கு மைக்கு கீழே உட்காந்து பேசுகிறேன். சரி, நான் கீழே இருக்கேன்.
ஞானத்தால் தொழுவார் சில ஞானிகள். ஞானத்தால் தொழுவேன் நான் அலேன். ஞானத்தால் தொழுவார் தொழக்கண்டு ஞானத்தாய் உன்னை நானும் தொழுதுனே. This is a lovely poem by Saint Appar, which emphasizes that our visualization of Godhood is nothing but jnana. Vijnana. Vijnanam brahmeti vyajanat. And from Vijnana we come to the last one is Anando brahmeti vyajanat. So Vijnana leads us on to Ananda, happiness.
Is it visible for all of you?
Yes, sound.
So, I am always interested in reading modern history, and especially in the early and middle 19th century. District manuals, district manuals.
Gazetteer.
District gazetteer, but more district manuals are also there. these district manuals give us an insight into how such a great country like India was subordinated and made into a slave country, and how the then rulers looked at us. It will be amazing to know that the British around 1860 onwards, in the manual, they have specifically mentioned that ours, that is the white man's conquest. They say that we are bound to rule the world, and we will rule the world so long as the world remains. That's what one of the Britishers has written in the manual. And the second point they kept on emphasizing was that Indians are useless. They have no system of documentation, history, administration, judiciary, and in every field we are supreme. And one or two Europeans even themselves have mentioned, at the same time you go and see in London, they don't have even 1/10 of what Indians have in their tradition. And so he has said that this is not acceptable. But they influenced the rulers then, the Kumbini, they are called the Kumbinis in ancient times, and they brought, they needed translators because they were interested in collecting more revenue. That was their main intention. When they came, they paid 50,000 pound, then British pound, to the Nizam, and they were asked, they asked his permission, and before that they had the permission from Vijayanagara ruler. So they introduced this system of understanding or knowledge or education in which they said we have nothing, complete, as if it is a blank, and they were the people who brought and told us how to write, how to administer, and how our judiciary should function and so on. So my talk will be to show this is absolute nonsense. I don't know whether I can use this word as a but we have been indoctrinated that only the British knew how to rule this country, how to document. And so around 1850 or 60, the millions of people who had their own land in their own place for generations and generations and generations, and who had written documents of ownership, etc., they brushed aside and they started writing their own way of giving these lands to some people, select people whom they call the Jamindars. And before that they had the Palayakara. They were the regional rulers, chieftains who looked after the revenue collection, protection of the people, etc. Under the Nayaks of Genji, Nayaks of Tajur, Nayaks of Madurai, and so on. All these things, the illustrious example is that of our Kattabomma, Veeravani Kattabomma of Panjalakurchi, and they took one extraordinary step that whenever they captured these Palekaras, within 2 hours they used to hang them up, finish them off. So, we shall see. I am going to show you in a manner that maybe you will be able to understand that how we were indoctrinated and how we have a system of these Macaulay who made us all only to write and collect revenue for the great white man. And look at what is available in our own country. But unfortunately, our constitution took not our own constitution, not our own history, not our own culture, not that has existed in this country for more than 3,000 years before that, but they took the Western example, and even that, when they drafted the Constitution, they were little balanced. But 25 years after the Constitution, they introduced a word called secularism. Secularism means, according to dictionary, not connected with any religious right or philosophy or something like that. And this was used for their own purpose, for keeping themselves in power. And by this time we have got, I think, more than, Mr. Nagarajan is here, he is an expert, he will tell you, more than 125 amendments have been made to our Constitution. So there is no question of sanctity of our Constitution which has been adopted, and they kept on doing it. But how? We are not concerned with the secularism. Secularism is totally outlandish and foreign concept. So that's what I am going to show you. And whether there was a concept of oneness, unity in this country, written documents, verifiable document, with which we can show that this was a country which had all through the centuries, at least for more than 3,000 years or so, one unit from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Afghanistan to Assam. Always they felt that this is one country. That I will be showing you. And then I will show we have our own, in Tamilnadu, we have that movement which says that there is a separate culture, Tamil culture, and this is different from the other cultures and so on. And you can see how it is different. I will be able to show you with the help of Tamil literature. And then what a great organization our people were there, and who could visualize what is your administration, what is judiciary, what is democratic system, what they call democratic system, and how it permeated right up to the village level, and how this was done in our own country, our own people, whom these people thought superstitious. So that will be mine. If there are some mistakes, spelling mistakes and all that, you don't worry about, please forget about it. Next one. I think I have to take it.
Hand mic ಇದೆಯಾ?
Just
Thank you. A nation represents a well-defined space and demarcated by boundaries, inhabited by people who follow uniform lifestyle and customs, and emotionally attached to that country as their own. This is a general what is a nationalism? This is the concept. And this is what they say, that it never existed because there are so many dynasties, so many languages, and so they said only after the British came that nationality was introduced. Next one. Bharat remained one nation. Can someone put out this line?
Put out?
No? This line. It will be better. I can have it.
Yes.
So, one nation from time immemorial. It is well defined as a space extending from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Afghanistan to Assam in the east throughout the centuries for the past 3,000 to 4,000 years. Next. The life of the people of this country was inspired and controlled by the Vedas, which are called Shrutis. Next. The earliest constitution of India, based on the teachings of the Vedas, was compiled by Vaivastata Manu, who might have lived earlier than 500 BC or even, we don't know exactly, but definitely earlier, which is called Dharma Shastra. The Indian society was controlled by two systems also called the path of life, that is Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga, meaning worldly life and religious life. This is emphasized in all the early texts, including Bhagavad Gita, where Shankara says this is Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. What is Pravritti Marga is worldly life, and Nivritti Marga is religious life. The Dharma Shastras fall under the guidelines of worldly life, that is Pravritti Marga, external life. And there are some fundamental concepts followed throughout India, irrespective of region or languages. The human life was not considered a vague and aimless living, but well-defined roots called dharma, artha, kama and moksha, called purusharthas. The meaning of life, meaning for human, guidelines for human life. This is studentship, very well defined. Life is very well defined. And remember, these are defined nearly 3,000 years ago when we were still in the primitive state of living. Studentship, married life, grahastha dharma, life of penance, tapadas, tapasvins, and that is also called vanaprastha. And we have sannyasi, who relinquishes everything for understanding one's own atma, atma-jnana. Next. Brahmana, it must be kshatriya, vaisya and shudra. Shudras are also called here Velladas. Velladas are also divided into, in ancient time itself, into upper caste Velladas and lower caste Velladas. Lower caste Velladas were laborers, but upper caste Velladas were landowners, and those who could give their daughters in marriage to the king, and they were almost considered equal in social status of the king. And mixed caste. There are several mixed castes for whom many of these crafts, arts and crafts were reserved, like these karmakaras, like sculptors, painters, and so on, ironmongers and so on. So there are a large number of mixed caste also. So it was not a rigid society. Also, friend, I want to tell you, the Dharmasastras say that mobility of caste from lower level to higher level was very much prevalent. One can move up in the hierarchy and he can, Shudra can become a Brahmana, but in 3 or 4 generations, when he follows his own rules and regulations properly. That's mentioned in Dharmasastra. So it is not a rigid, caste system was never a rigid system. These were the fundamental concepts, that is the Varna system. Next. Then we have another one. Division of the country as Brahmavartha, Brahma Rishi Desa, Madhya Desa, Aryavartha and Yajna Bhumi. These are the divisions which are given in Manu's Dharmasastra, which is the earliest, as I told you, is the earliest constitution of India, because it says who can become a king, what are the duties of the king, what are the duties of the other people, how to control and all that. That we will see. Next. These divisions are not based on language or dynasty, but on natural geographical boundaries like rivers and hills. Next. Brahmavartha consisted of the region between river Saraswati and Drishadvati. We don't know where Drishadvati is there. So many interpretations are there. But between these two rivers, both of them are not now running, not alive, but dried up rivers. We know Saraswati is at least dried up. And satellite photograph shows that it runs underground. They are called Devanatis, and they were dried up at the time of the division itself. The second one consisted of Kurukshetra, Matsyas, Panchala, Surasena and Kanya Kubja. This is the next one. These areas are called Brahma Rishi Desa. But this is one part of Bharat Kanda. We have Brahma Rishi division and Brahma Varta and then Brahma Rishi Desa. You are moving from west to east. Next. The third one is called Madhya Desa. From Himalayas in the north and Vindhya mountain in the south, Saraswati in the west and Prayaga in the east, from where one can see the rising sun. This is what is given in Manu Dharmasastra, division. Next. The fourth one is south of India and bounded by the Eastern Ocean and Western Ocean. This is called Aryavarta. Next. The fifth is the region south up to Kanyakumari. But here, Manu says, it is a place where the black buck deer, Krishna Sara Mriga, the tender deer, Mriga, that moves around freely of its own will. It's not afraid of anybody. So that land is called the Yajna Bhumi or Yajna Desa, and we will fall under that category. So from Himalayas in the north to Kanyakumari in the south, sometimes the well-known hill at the southernmost part is Padigai Hills, where Saint Agastya is said to have lived, and so Himalayas to Padigai Hill was one region, only divided into 5 units. So vertically and also that is north to south and west to east, this was the one unit divided into 5 parts. In all these places, the rule of your Manu, as called as Manu Dharma Sastra, was the one law book. One law book, you will be amazed to see how he has divided the subject. Part of it I will show you what he has given. And from all regions, from Afghanistan to Burma, even Burma, and even Far East, in Thailand, Cambodia, and other places also, it was Manu Dharma which was followed. Okay? Now here you have Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Pudiyan, and of course this has been truncated now. And this part, from there to here, this was one unit. This is what is given in what you call our Dharma Sastra, Manu Dharma Sastra. But there are so many dynasties and so many languages. They are all Prakrit in the northern part, and here, this part alone we have Tamil, and then here both Tamil and Prakrit mixed in the west and south and so on. So this was one nation, one unit which is spoken of by Manu. Manu is supposed to be the earliest textbook we had, and then we have other Dharma Sastrakaras who lived here, some people here, some great men living here, some rishis living here, and some rishis living there, like Apattumba, Bodhayana, Parasara, and so many other Sutrakaras. There's one who is very significant is Yajnavalkya. He is called Yogi, Yogeshwara. And in his Dharma Sastras, for the first time, he emphasizes written documents. In Manu Dharma Sastra, there is not much reference to written documents for ownership rights and so on, but Yajnavalkya speaks at every stage for ownership and for rule and for judiciary. Everywhere he insists on written documents, that is called Lekhya Pramana. So we have not only Manu Dharma Sastra, there are other number of other small Dharma Sastras. They were originally influential in certain regions, but later on integrated into one. And so you have, besides Manu, other Dharma Sastras. Okay? In Tamil Nadu, we have 2000-year-old poems called Sangam poems, Sangam literature. They consist of what you call Aham poetry and Puram poetry. There are altogether about 2,500 verses there. And there we get references to this whole country of Bharata. Next. Tamil Sangam works assignable to 1st century BC to 2nd century AD frequently refer to the country situated between the Himalayas and Podigai Hills. Himalayas to Podigai Hills, always this way. Imayam Mudal, Podiyam Varai. Next. Now interestingly, as I told you, the 5th division in this extreme south, according to Manu, is the country where black buck moves freely without any fear, and where the Brahmanas perform Sandhya, evening Sandhya, and they perform the 3 fires, sacrificial fires, like Garavatya and so on. And that is the place that is described here in one of the earliest Tamil Sangam poem. It is a reference to Udiyan Jeraladan. He is said to have given food in Mahabharata Vad. So, Perinjotru Udiyan Jeraladan. And he also was sung by one of the earliest Tamil poets, Muranjiyur Mudi Nagarayar. He is supposed to be one of the earliest listed. And he says, that the black buck freely moves in the country from Himalayas to Podigai Hills, where the black buck moves, and he says that the deer has a habit of doing like this, like what you see here, and in pairs, Ma Pinai, it says. It is always in pairs, it moves, and this is exactly what is described in the most ancient Tamil literature, which is as early as 1st century BC or so. Next one. Here is another illustrations. We all go to Mahabalipuram. This is from Mahabalipuram, in the famous sculpture of Arjuna's penance. Look at this. It's so well known for jumping and going freely, that it moves freely. And look at that, it is quite happy. The poem says that these move in the Podigai Hills where the Brahmanas perform the 3 sacrifices, and wild animals will not approach when there is fire in the evening, and so they are quite happily sitting down and sleeping, and that's what he says in the poetry, Tamil poetry. So that is represented in art in this part of the country. So with this, if you look at that, next, see, look at that, Siruthalai Navvi, like that. Siruthalai Navvi, Perungan Mappinai, Andi Andanar Arum Kadan Irukkum, Mutti Vilakit Tunjum, Urkote Imayam Podiyalum Podre. This is the earliest poem we have on that Cherokee, and it is, you will live so long as this country between Imayam and Podiyal lasts. This is the poetry. And incidentally, in this poetry, little early, the poet says, Nalveda Niritirinam. Even if the 4 Vedic margas go astray, your subordinates, your amatyas, your soldiers will never desert you. That's what he says. So he specifically mentions Nalveda Neri. It is Vedic tradition. Next. The poem is sung by one of the early Tamil in verse number 2 of Purananuru. The poet is mentioned is Maranjiyur Mudinagarai. This is an exact reflection of what is mentioned in Manu's Dharmasastra, where in the southernmost part, that part is called Yajna Bhumi, where the Andanas perform Yajna, Vedic Yajna. Next. Look at that. This is a historic culture which we can look at it from a different angle. We know that there is Arjuna doing penance and Shiva is giving Paspatastra. Generally we describe it as Arjuna's penance and some people call it as Bhagavata's penance, whatever the case may be. But the whole thing represents Himalayas. Water falls on the Himalayas in thousands of streams as Ganga. And the river that flows down here is the Ganga river. Ganga played such a great role in the history of Indian unity. Again and again, Gangayil Punidamaya Kaveri. When we say Kaveri is so sacred as Ganga, that means we held the Ganga such a great esteem. And so this is the great Himalayan mountain that is depicted. From where this comes down, and where you see here is the deer sitting down at the dawn, connecting Himalayas to Podigal Hill almost, as described in Manu and also as described in Tamil poetry. Look at this. This is the, and like this, tender, lovely. So the symbol of unity of this nation is portrayed here in this one as you stand before. If you can visualize that the Ganges falls into several powerful streams and comes down, and on the slopes all these things are there, and I'm going to tell you, the Cholas, they always mention that Manu Neri Taraittu Onga in their own pedigree, what we call Megirti. They say at the beginning of the introduction, we ruled Manu Neri Taraittu Onga because Manu was the ancestor of the Chola dynasty. It is mentioned in their own epigraph, old royal Sasana, that it is Manus who is the originator of Chola country. And interestingly, Pandyas belong to the family of Arjuna. Arjuna came down south according to Mahabharata. He married the daughter of a ruling king, and their daughter, son, was the Pandya, who established Mathura on the lines of northern Mathura. This is then Mathura, which we now call Madurai, but originally it is called Mathura. And so we have the depiction. One is the Vedic tradition as reflected in Manu Dharmasastra. Second is in the Tamil tradition, and third in art. So this particular representation has, there are so many wild animals. There are so many, lion. Next. Look at the majestic elephant on the slopes. According to Tamil poem, they bring the wood for the Brahmanas to perform yaga, and they give it, So, this is you have. Next. Of course, this is the one. Next. You have, here is another deer, where deer, they move freely down the slopes. Next. And you see, where the Brahmanas, they perform Andi Andanar Sandhi, they perform Sandhi. Here you have someone doing joke that Suryam Drise, you say, no, you look at the sun. And they are here. Next. Look at this line, and 20. Next. You know, this is the cat, the famous cat, doing penance. And then, quite opposed to it are the rats there. Both live together. The Cholas say, Ondrinudan Ondrukum, Varuvarodu Varuvarukum, Veru Veru Pahaimai Manathu Indri, Vijaindu Kadaludan Sera, we rule the country. Between man and man, and between animal and animal, without hatred towards each other, they live together, and that's how we rule this country. They say that we follow Manu Dharma, irrespective of any Chola ruler. 9th century, 10th century, 11th century, you see that. Everyone says, everyone claims. Raja claims he is another Manu himself born in this world to establish Dharma. So, the wild animals which are mutually opposed to each other, they also live together. And here is the representation. Next. Yeah, this is the Andhara performing evening. Next. A tiger. Tiger is a ferocious animal, but it gives milk to the rest of our world. Motherhood. Next. Well, you can go on. Next. Yeah, this comes down and Tyagena Ekena Amritattamana Suhu. Immortality is obtained only by Tyaga, according to Indian concept. He performs tapas. Arjuna performs tapas. Pasvatastra is only to cut away our foolishness. Darkness. Foolishness is likened to darkness. So to cut aside that, we need Pasvata weapon. And we say Bandha is cut asunder by the Pasvata. That's a symbolic one. Next one. It's closer. They have thought about it, how to represent and bring before the eyes of the common man all these ideas. Next. 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 Yes. There are 18 Ganas portrayed in Puranas. All these are represented in this one, in this Himalayan ranges. So this is the Himalayas. Next. Next. Right, go on. It's a beautiful representation. Apart from all these, the philosophy behind, even the sculpture itself as a piece of art is wonderful, absolutely beautiful. Next one. Look at that. So this great one represents from Himalayas to Kanyakumari, all people living together, and including the tender animals. They have selected Man, Mriga, this symbol of this unity. Next. 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 Yeah, this is the full view of that. Next. Now, we have a great work in Tamil called Periya Puranam. It is big, not only big, but it is unequal in poetic excellence. Manu Dharma is first described in this Periya Purana. And so Manu Nidhi Choran Kadayam. because the Cholas had their ancestor Manu, and that's wonderful. That poem itself is maybe Ramesh, he can give you a beautiful talk on that. Manu Needi Choran Kadai Peri Puranam is absolutely wonderful. You must have one on that.
Sure.
You must have one on that. Verse after verse is marvelous. And you know the story of Manu. His son went on a chariot and a small calf jumped on the road and it was run over by his chariot. And the cow went to the court. According to the early tradition of Periya Puranam, with its horn, it pulled and it dashed against the court wall and pulled the bell of justice. And the king came out and he said, "It's all a minister. You are all here. What is it happening here in this country? What is it?" Then they said, "Unfortunately, a calf jumped in and it died." He said, "No, you tell me what I should do." Then they said, "You do some prayasita, something like that." And then the king said, there is a beautiful verse. He says, "It is the duty of the ruler." Duty, I want to underline this. It is the duty of the ruler to see no danger occurs to the subject by himself. First he says, "Tannar." Then "Tan Parijanatar." The second list is his own officers. And then his opponents. Then the robbers. Then the wild animals. If there is any danger, it is the first duty, foremost duty of the ruler to protect the people from all these attacks. And so he says that I must feel the same feeling. It was very nice yesterday to see Modi ji consoling the scientists. He felt the same thing, what the emotion the other people had. Like that, here the king says, I must have the same pain and I must punish myself. And so he ordered, he told the minister, "Run him over, my son, run him over the courtyard." That was you can't imagine such an administration of justice in this country. We are also advanced nearly 3,000 years after. We speak of secularism, equality. Equality is only for protecting minority. Equality is for fooling the majority people. But that was not that. So he wanted that his son should be run over by the court so that he will feel at the cow. And then the minister, he couldn't bear that. He went and he died. And so the king himself got onto the chariot and put his son under the car and ran over and killed him. The punishment was given. Now this is the aim and symbol of Manu's dharma, Manu's judiciary, Manu's mode of judgment, which is given a visual representation in a stone chariot in Tiruvarur, where it is said to have taken place, where a stone ratha has been made and the son of King Manu is thrown under the wheel and he is being killed. You can see that next one. Look at this. Here is the cow. Here is the calf which was killed. And a temple was erected in the time of the Cholas to show that Cholas upheld dharma, Manu dharma. And see, there was a big temple superstructure has disappeared, but you can see the cow. And next one. Look at that. The cow. In front of its dead calf, in the outskirts of the palace of the Chola king, it weeps. You must read what you call Teriya Puranas to understand the beauty of it. Right? That's the king. It's a modern one. It has no beauty. No, we have lost all our sense of beauty. Next. Here is the king's son. This is the chariot. And this is purely a monument to Manu's dharma in action. And it is in the Chola country. And it's also a monument created by the Cholas to show what is dharma shastra, what is dharma, and how they cared so much for dharma. These people need not tell us. They tell us that we don't know anything about judiciary, but they need not tell us about what is judiciary, how they manage. 1,000-year-old monument, and this is the king's son lying down with folded hand. It's an extraordinary depiction in Peripurana, Manu Dharma. Next. No, why are you
No.
please.
Light operator.
Next. It's extraordinary. This is a visual representation. Wonderful. So that is dharma. You have dharma, Manu dharma from Himalayas to Padil Hill, represented by the tender mrigas, and here you have the cow and its calf representing Manu dharma. This is a visual representation of Manu dharma that was prevalent in this part of the country. Next. 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 Then we have several representations in Tamil literature representing Panipadu Nedivarai. Panivarai is Himalayas. Ice covered. Panipadu Nedivarai Vadakkum. Tenad Urugari Terkum. Gunad Karai Guru Todugadal Gunakkum. It and Bay of Bengal. And Parvatin Kudakkum is Muppunar Adikiya Mulu Mother Katil. This Katil is kingdom, kingship. So you have a complete description of northern Himalayas, southern what you call the Kanyakumari, and then Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and that is the kingdom, which is again in Sangam literature. Next. This poem was sung by Karikuyar and Palyagasale Mudugudimi Peruvedi, who was a great performer of sacrifices, Vedic sacrifices, in praise of fire. Next. Then there is another poem which says when the king goes on war expedition to conquer the opponent's territory, he has to send his own soldiers first and tell the people there to go, the young people, the women, those who are afflicted with diseases, and the brahmanas, those who are like tender cows. We are going to invade your country. You all go and take shelter under your some safety place. Then we will. This is called Dharma Yuddha. Before invading the country, the opponent's territory must be visited by their soldiers, and the cow, Brahmins, young boys, women, those who suffer diseases must be removed to safety before the war takes place, battle. And that is called Arattar Nuvalum Putkei Maram. Maram is heroism. Arattar is the dharmic method, dharmic path. How to protect the people. All these people see Avum, come. Ayal Parpana Makkalum, the Brahmins, Pendir, ladies, Piniyudayirum, those who are suffering from disease. Peni Tengulam Vainarku Arungadan Yirkum Punbor Pudalvar Peradisum. Those who don't have any progeny to offer Tarpana to their ancestors, you leave them out, don't kill them. Pudalvar Peradisum, Em Ambu Kadivadidu, we are going to send our arrows now. Fight with you, so you please go away and take shelter in the safe places. And then Arattar Nuvalam Putkai Marathin Maram is heroism. So this is the Dharma Sastra that is in action, even in war. Next. Then there is another poem. These are the excellent example of how Dharma Sastra was in action in different poems. Aanmulai Arutha Arangilorukum. Those cut the udder of cows. Aanmulai Arutha Arangilorukum. Maanilai Mahalir Karachidatorkum. Parpa Tapiya Kudumayorkum. Valuvai Maringit, Kailuvai Madave, even this have some explanatory right you can explore. But you cannot explore. If prayer the Ainum Varuvan Saidi Kundrarake, with ill in a Arambaditre, the Dharma says that there is no expiation for one who Paisala. Sainandri Kondravan. There is no expiation like that. And that is the Dharma of our country. One who has been supporting you all the time, and then you destroy him. The poem is sung by poet Alattur Pida on the Chola King Nalangelli. Next. A poet named Mudigandan Sattan sings the praises of the Chola Narangili in Pranamadu, that he is known for his rule of his country with Dharma, Artha and Kama. These three are Aram, Parul, Inbam. All these three were protected by the king, Chola king, as prescribed in what you call Dharma Sastra. So we have to say, yeah, thank you. Next one, please. Aranilai Tiriya Anbin Aveku. Chola Judiciary Court is known for its upright judgment. It is called Avai. Avai is a Prakrit form or Tamil form of Sabha. Avayattu. And today we will say in the world, British courts are very well known for the judgment. Very high standard. I have seen it myself in my evidence when I went there. But in ancient times, 2000 years ago, the judiciary of Nalankili, see, Avayat Aranilai Diriya Anbin Avayattu திறனில் ஒருவனை காட்டி, one who has no help, who has no efficiency, அவனை போய் நான் வந்து by mistake, if I punish him, whatever sin I will commit, that I will bear it. He says. So many holes செய்தோன் ஆகுக. If I cannot protect that poor man, I will fall into the sin. And aram பொருள் இன்பம் புறப்பவன். This is what he said. Next one, please. Another poem. I am showing you this is, I can catalog a quite large number of these poems are there. Now we have to say, what is this Tamil culture? When you say Tamil culture, this is Tamil culture. This is there embedded in the earliest collection of poems, Sangam poems. So you look at that. Aramum, Purulum, Inbamum. So the fundamental principle of all India ideas as reflected in Dharmasastra is what is reflected in complete Tamil country. Next. See, aramum, porulum, inbamum, moondrum, aatrum, peruma, nin selvam. Another poem, it says that you protect these people with aram, porul, inbam, that is dharma, artha, and kama. Next. And this I have already, next one. Yeah, this I have already shown you. Then the Guru Kumariyan. Kumari. Kuna the Karai Guru Tepkum. That other one is which referred to Imayam is the first line. Todu Vedar Kudakkam. Kuda the Tondrum. That is Kuda is a Western Ocean, Arabian Sea. Within this country, within this boundary is this country. Next one. In another poem, there is a reference to Nilam, Ahayam and Swarajnam in Tamil poem. What is this? Nilam, Ahayam, Sargam, Bhur, Bhuvas, Swaha. Bhu is Nilam, Bhuva is Ahayam, Swaha is Sargam. So this is referred to in ancient Sangam literature. Next one. Next. This is on one Pilli Vadavan. Parkottu Imayattu Vilparitha Nedundir Vanavan. See, they always claimed, all the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas, they claimed they left the royal emblem on the Himalayas. Himayam. So they always had the Himayam as the northernmost part, and this country as well. And they always claimed that they ruled from Himayam to Kanyakumari. That is the national spirit. And then it says, it's not Puru, it must be Pura. Pura is the Sibi Chakravarti. In Sangam literature, the Cholas claim that they are the Manu and then Sibi Chakravarti, who gave his own flesh for the sake of Dao, Pura. That is what is mentioned here. Karaipudi Adaivan Marupirinda when Karaikol Tula Amkol. He says that court of Cholas, the Tula Kol, to weigh the king, was made of ivory, taken from royal elephant, and using this was made of ivory, in which the Sibi Chakravarti said against the Pura, you are the descendants of that great judicial king who gave his own body. That's what he said. This is the next one. Next. Well, he upheld justice. It is very well known. Many poems say that the court of Urayur was well known throughout the Tamil country for its judiciary and upright judgment in all types of cases, disputes. Next. See, மரங்கள் சோழர் உறந்தையில் அறம் நின்று அவையத்தின் நிலை established, and then it goes on. Next. Next. See, we are saying that. Then Tamil என்பதை தமிழ்நாடு என்று கூறினார், says a commentator. Sometimes the word Tamil is used for Tamilnadu. Next. Next. Well, you can go on. I'll show you next one. தூண்களில் கடவுள் எழுதி அவற்றுக்கு வழிபாடாக பலி கொடுத்தல். It says bali கொடுத்தல். Bali, they use the same word, which is a northern word. Next. 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 Himayam. Several references to Himayam, not one or two. Several in the Sangam poems. These are 2000-year-old Tamil poems. Now we come to a few points of Manu's Dharmasastra. I think I have some more time.
Yes, sir, you.
Next one. What is Dharma? We are talking about Dharma. What is Dharma? How we define Dharma? Vidvatbihi sevitaha. That which is adored, respected by learned men. Vidvatbihi sevitaha. And Vidwan may be a learned man, but he may not be a good man. So, Sadbihi, Vidvatbihi sevitaha. Sadbihi, not occasionally good, but always good. So Nityam, Vidvatbihi sevitaha, Sadbihi, Nityam, Araga Dveshibihi. One who has no greed himself. You collect lot of money, revenue, and deposit it in 21 countries outside the... that is not... this is you see, Araga. You try to possess everything yourself. One who has no desire to possess, Araga, Adveshi. Adveshi means who has no hatred toward the other one. I told you, in the Cholan, thing you have this mentioned specially. So, Araga, Dveshibihi. Not only all these four categories of ideas, but also you must be convinced in your own heart of hearts what you are doing, whether it is correct or not. We say whether you apply your mind before giving your due. That's what in the modern way we say. But there it is said in Manu, 2500 years ago, Vidvatbihi sevitaha, sadbihi, nityam, arega dveshibihi, in your own heart of heart, you must be convinced that what you are doing is correct. That is called Dharma. That is Dharma. And there are many other beautiful verses he has mentioned on Dharma. Extraordinary. To consider the time when he was living, 2500 years ago in more forest regions and moving here and there with very few population. For Manu to visualize all this, it is an extraordinary constitution about which nothing is known. Not even the word Dharma is used in our own constitution now. That is a divine Dharma which gives an extraordinary scientific definition which has nothing to do with religion. What is the religion in that? This is the definition. Next. Yeah, this is the English version of what I told you. Next. I am going to tell you, please remember that this is not restricted to any one state in India. One linguistic zone in India. You see, in Assam, This is the most eastern part. There is an instance of Bhaskara Varman, brother of Supradishtita Varman, and both were rulers of Assam, called Kamarupa. In those days it was called Kamarupa. Both fought with the Gaudas. Gaudas are the Bengali people, army, but lost the war and were imprisoned and carried to Gaudadesa. This king. Subsequently, they were released. Not like the British, within 2 hours they hanged our own Padayakara. But here, the Gaudas released them. The ancient tradition was, if you conquer the opponent's territory, levy some sort of tribute from the people and then hand it over back to them. That was our dharma. And here, they are sending back. These 2 people are sent back by the Gaudas. Next. After ruling for a short period, the elder brother died. And the younger one, Bhaskara Varman, ascended the throne after purifying himself with a ritual as prescribed in the Dharma Shastra. Because he was imprisoned, he has become impure. So he followed that he should be purified before ascending the, he must be pure. Not in the, what you call, Lok Sabha, you like this. You know what it is? Mischievous ideas, you cannot, persons with mischievous ideas cannot be in that circle. So he wants to purify himself before ascending the throne. Right? That copper plate is available still. It is dated around 600. His ancestor who gifted the land is given the title in the copper plate as Dharmanuga, Dharma Anuga, follower of Dharma. So the Dharma was not, I am going to show you, the Dharma which is mentioned specifically as Manu Dharma. And it is in Assam, 600 AD, this is mentioned, Dharma in action. Next one. He was also a follower of Shaivism and mentioned as Maheshwara Astrayanaya, follower of Maheshwara. I give you the reference. Next, Bengal. Assam, I am showing you from Bengal, Mithrapur inscription of Sasanka, 600 AD. He gifted a land to a Madhyandina Brahmana for the merit of his pair. Pitroho Punya Vivirdhyantam, for the prosperity of his parent. He further says that he legally purchased this land and then gifted it. Not the common land, Paramboku land, I gifted to my party man, useless fellow, and then he said, I have made a great gift. This gift will not confer any merit on you. So according to Dharma Shastra, any gift, any dana, he must own legally by purchasing it. The king purchases the land and gives this. And that is according to the Dharma Shastra prescription. Next. So he says, Manu Shastra Anuvartina. This is the 687th century inscription which says that it is according to Manu Dharma that he purchased the land and gave it. Next. Dharma Shastra Sarena Nyaya Anyaya Vichitari and Kritva Atma Punya Vivridhyatam. That's what he said. This is a joy. It's a delight to read all these ancient records of our kings who ruled in Assam, Bengal, Bihar, UP, and Haryana, Kashmir, Maharashtra. Everywhere you go, they refer to these Dharma Shastras. And in delightful Sanskrit, all over, for till the regional language became a classical language, they always used Sanskrit because these were all judicial documents and precision of expression, so that there is no vagueness while doing the judgment, when giving the judgment. Next. I am taking you even a little beyond. Bangladesh was only originally part of India, Bengal. Now it is Bangladesh. A copper plate from Bangladesh dated 664 AD referred to a Brahmana, Samanta. Samanta is a canonical. And he granted a land to his subordinate officer who was also a Brahmana. So there were also Brahmins who were commanders, soldiers. In the order was communicated to a large number of government officers listed, which shows they were well organized, absolutely very well organized administrative system. From the king to the last village in his kingdom, there are so many officers looking after so many departments, and they were all responsible to the government. And we know the name of all these official posts. And that is mentioned not only in Bengal, not only in Assam, but also in all other parts of northern India. And the Tamil version of it is also prevalent here in Tamil version. So the rulership, administration is absolutely all over India the same. Next. Another one from Bangladesh, 665, same. Sri Dharamana Ratha, referring to a gift made to a Buddha.